Listen to me, facts alone will kill your ability to influence and sell. I'm Dr. Dan, I'm a strategist, I'm a coach, I'm passionate about the brain, and more fired up than ever to help you take your specific message to the masses. In this video, we're breaking down the fact that facts will destroy your ability to influence and persuade people unless they're accompanied by one thing. But before I get to that, let me prove to you how using facts, data, and information alone will never get you where you want to go. So I can tell you right now, you're doing what you're doing to make the world a better place, to help people, to drive revenue, to build your business. And because of that, you gotta know how the human brain is wired to take in facts. Let me tell you about the concept of rain. One is from the perspective of a farmer, another is from a perspective of a father whose daughter is getting married. So the topic is rain. That's a fact. If you're a farmer who's experiencing a drought, rain can save the day. It could save your family, it could save your bank account, it could save the entire farm. So rain is a fact, and it would be a big positive deal to you as a farmer if you're dealing with the drought. On the other hand, if you're a father of a bride who's getting married outside and today's her big day, rain could ruin the wedding. So you see how I've got the fact of rain. In one scenario, it's very good, and in another scenario, it's very bad. Let me put a twist on it. Now you're a farmer who deep down wants to get rid of this farm, hates the farm, doesn't like anymore, is just fed up with farming, and is looking for a sign to get out. And this drought is the opportunity for the farm to be ruined and him to get out. So now that rain, which you thought would be positive for this farmer, is actually negative because he wants to get out. But this is extending the day, it's extending his farm, it's extending his life on this farm, which is very negative. And now let's go to the father of the bride. Deep down, he doesn't want his daughter to marry this guy. So rain on the wedding day is giving an opportunity to extend this time period, so maybe his daughter has a come to Jesus moment and she walks out without getting married. You see how I took the concept and fact of rain and we put it into multiple different scenarios. I got you to perceive this rain much differently with the same characters and a different story. You see, that's why facts don't matter as much as the frame that you put around facts. Think about a picture frame. What's the purpose? It's the frame goes around the picture so that you focus on the picture. A frame that you put around the facts allows your listeners or viewers to perceive those facts in a very specific way. It's frames over facts. The frame matters more than the facts. Research that I've shared before out of Ohio State evaluated the effects of information versus a story as it relates to unwanted pregnancies. So they split a group in two, and they had one group watch a news station with a bunch of facts and data on why you should have safe sex to protect unwanted pregnancy. The other group watched an episode of the OC, this drama, this simple story that was intended to create influence over these viewers and get them to change their belief and behavior as it relates to unwanted pregnancy. Weeks later, they asked which group was most affected by what they had viewed, either the news or the drama, and it wasn't even close. Those who watched a TV show had a profound change in their belief and their behavior because they watched this specific episode of the OC. Whereas the other group had no change at all. In fact, they had what was called the boomerang effect, where you are presented a bunch of facts and you go find reason as to why those facts do not affect you. So when these women watched this news station on the effects of unwanted pregnancy, they told themselves, I'm not that. I don't make those decisions. I'm not promiscuous. I would never be in that situation. And they literally had the boomerang effect where it not only didn't affect them, they found reasons why this has nothing to do with them. On the other hand, those who'd watched the OC, same type of women, but they found themselves realizing that could be me. Even though I have good intentions and make good decisions, I could be just like that girl. So do you see how a story helps frame facts in a way where people feel understood and they were able to change their belief and behavior? This is where facts can get you in trouble if you're not careful with your communication, if you're not intentional with everything you say and how you say it. I like to use the phrase wrap it in peanut butter. And it comes from a story where a kid got a new puppy and his dad was very adamant, if you don't take care of it, I'm gonna take it away from you. Well, a couple weeks go by and the dog gets fleas. The kid is terrified terrified that the dad's gonna take the puppy away because it has fleas. So he goes to his grandma and says, what do I do? His grandma says, that's simple, give the dog garlic. Kid says, great, goes back, gives the dog some garlic. Unfortunately, the dog smells the garlic and runs away. Kid goes back to the grandma, says, Grandma, I have a problem. My dog doesn't like garlic. She says, no dog likes garlic. In order to make a dog eat garlic, you gotta wrap it in peanut butter. So sure enough, he goes back, the dog eats the garlic wrapped in peanut butter, fleas go away, everybody wins. Moral to the story, wrap your facts in peanut butter. The way the brain of your listeners and prospects receive your information will be so much different when you wrap it in a story. There was great research done at Stanford University in their psychology department by a gal named Elizabeth Newton. She was doing her PhD thesis and she studied tappers and listeners. The study went like this. There was a group of people who were titled tappers. They were given a series of popular songs that everybody knows. And they were told to tap the songs on a table so that listeners could hear the song and guess which one it was. Now, seems pretty simple, right? When they asked the tappers, what percentage of the songs do you think your listeners are going to be able to name? The tappers said 50%. So in other words, these tappers believed that 50% of the songs they were tapping, that the listeners would be able to pick out and name because they were such simple songs, like Happy Birthday and Mary Had a Little Lamb and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But what happened was pretty shocking. Only 2.5% of all the songs that these tappers tapped were named by the listeners. So the question you should be asking is, how could that happen? These songs were so simple. How did they not know? And here's the reality. When you tap a song in your mind, that is an accessory to the melody already being played in your head. So to the tapper, it's so obvious that this song, Happy Birthday to you.
Nice.
That seems so relevant. It seems so easy. But that's because you're already playing the song in your head. But to the listener, without any sort of reference point, is just hearing a bunch of random taps. And it turns out the same thing happens when we try to explain the significance of facts and why somebody should change their belief or behavior. When you try to sell somebody on something that's just focused on features and benefits, facts and data, they don't have a reference point. They're just hearing a bunch of random taps, a bunch of random facts, stats, and logic that will never get them to believe and behave differently. This research is so powerful that helps us describe why facts can get you in trouble. Because the brain, right, the brain of your listeners, the brain of your viewers, it thinks in stories and pictures. So all the facts that you have, you got to think about what they are and just wrap them in a story. One that I used to use always was to describe the value of a fever. When teaching patients this concept, I wouldn't just tell them, hey, a fever is good, because in their mind, they remember a fever being painful. They remember a fever being scary. They remember a fever being risky. They're taught that a fever is bad. That's the consensus based on our doctors, and even if you're experienced, if you've seen a kid have a fever, you get kind of concerned. Yourself have a fever, you're thinking, I'm sick, this is scary. Or is it? When I was 8 years old, I used to play at my grandma's house, and we had a tree house. Well, I fell out of that tree house, and on the way down, I literally scraped my entire arm along these steps. I go inside crying to my mom, and she signals my dad to come help. So my dad takes a lighter out of his pocket and a needle that he got from my grandma, and he starts heating up the end of the needle with the lighter. And then I asked the question, why would he do that? See, now you're thinking about why he would do that, and it's very simple. He would do it to sterilize the needle before he put it into my skin to get the sliver out. You see, God put that same mechanism in our body that anytime foreign invaders get inside the body, this internal thermostat goes up so our body is sterilized, so it cleans itself, so it kills off all the bad guys. You see how I just turned the story of a fever from bad to good? Wow, I want my internal mechanism to kick up that fever so the bad guys get out. That's a fever. See, I wrapped that fact of a fever that you may have initially thought was bad with a story that maybe piqued your interest that you've never heard before. This is how stories change facts. This is how frames are more important than the facts. The stories you tell will put a frame around the facts so that people believe you and behave differently. In other words, take action on what you want them to do. So choose frames over facts if you're looking to influence and sell in today's economy. And I'm telling you, when you do it this way, you'll sell like a veteran, even if you're an introvert. From one introvert to another, tell more stories, put frames around your facts, and you'll start crushing your competition. Hey, if you want more videos and content like this, hit that like button, leave me a comment, I'll get back to you. God bless.